伸び縮みするなんて面白い。片面にはぬるっとした液体が。
Picture this. You're riding on a motorcycle and you get behind a truck. And you see this loose strap on a vending machine, but your first thought, instead of pulling over and going, oh, that's a final destination scenario, I'm good, you go, oh, let me go catch it. Bro, what are you, a dolly? Like, no. So anyways, this guy gets absolutely smashed into the vending machine because of course. So at least this time, Truck-san didn't do it. Or did he? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised when the law comes out. So you open back up your eyes again and immediately you're like, oh, I can't feel my body. What am I? I'm not paralyzed. No, you're not. You've been filled with liquids. Pause. So you realize you're a vending machine and of course you can't move. So you explore your settings and you also find out you can't even speak. Actually, all you can do is like hope someone buys things from you. Otherwise, you're gonna get hit with the out of service. Real quick, I just have to give props to the guy because of his positive attitude. I mean, could you imagine being stuck into a world full of goblins, dragons, heroes, and your main contribution to society is giving people their daily dose of soda and chips? But lucky you, Pepe and his phone crew show up and you think, oh, this new world isn't so bad, but you immediately realize you were wrong, absolutely wrong, because they start reshaping you into a lily pad. But of course, this is an isekai, so you got full plot armor. You go full domain expansion on them, and all of a sudden they can't get to you anymore. And guess what? They get tired and walk away. Like, that's real life. So a few days pass and you're actually about to become less sentient. You don't have anything else left but another plot armor, a good one actually, with how do I say this? A girl with a big personality. And of course she just happens to have lost a bag of food, because that's not on the nose at all. Really, I didn't see that coming.
You didn't see that coming?
Then she proceeds on to putting all of her money into this random vending machine in the middle of the forest. Like, that's not suspicious at all. Am I crazy? Anyways, long story short, she figured out that the vending machine can talk more or less and proceeds to carry it to town, where our boxhead literally proceeds to rob everybody in town of their money because he's a vending machine, which, well, it's all legal robbing. Honestly, I mean, it's good business, but like, this guy is ruthless. It's either him or them, and if he doesn't take their money, technically he's going to be unalived. At some point, they save a little girl. First of all, the guy's trying to do that. Disgusting. Second of all, you see a girl carrying a big ass box. The first thing in my head is I'm walking away. There is nothing in this picture that makes sense. But of course, the villain in the anime just hang out and try to fight her. And we all know how that ends up. So then after the robbing, then it's episode 2, where he meets Kuma Bernstein, who tells him like, look, we need full supply for a Kermit crusade, and you happen to give food, so come along. So you go on, and then there's this zombie looking dude who can't grow a beard, pokes you around, then calls a gal who kind of looks like she gave up on life to poke you some more and end up not understanding what you are, because that's what they were trying to figure out. The next day, the battle starts against Pepe and his gang, and as it turns out, you being a whole gym dumbbell rack helps Miss Big Personality with her balance. So she's now able to hit the Pepes. Like really, she couldn't hit anything before, and that's how it works out. So, you know, I just love isekai, and I watch it every day, even though I know it's making me as dumb as a rock. But you never know, the next isekai might actually be a guy reborn as a rock who can now one-shot the devil himself. So as the battle intensifies, there are more Pepe than people. So when one is about to kill the little girl, you and your big personality friends move in the way and you end up protecting her. And from what you discover, you can see from the back of your head too. I mean, not technically your head, but like, you get what I'm saying. So when the job is done in somehow, some way, while trying to get the tongues out of the Pepes, the lifeless looking girl ends up having all the slime in her fingers and complains. I mean, look, they know what they're doing. And by the way, you also realize wannabe Clint Eastwood is pretty slimy. You noticed earlier, but like, he's not even hiding it. So at night, after the rambling, not that type of rambling. Skinny Hercules leaves you for 2 minutes and some slimy deep poop head comes up and tries to rob you illegally this time. So you give him water and he's like, oh yeah, great, thank you so much, that's more like it. And when he put his hand inside your junk, pause, you give him the hottest sauce you got on tap. And at that precise moment, she comes back to stop him from trying to reshape you again. Then the Red Hot Chili Pepper God shows up and you proceed to beat whatever he is with a 5th grade science project. But your friend only figures it out because one of the guys accidentally stuffed our slithery rascal. No, let's call him Roscoe the Slithering Rascal. Yeah, they filled his mouth with minty balls and juice. Big pause. And by the way, while you guys are figuring this all out, this thing is just like watching you and only decides to think about attacking you when you throw something at him again. Great anime plot. So you beat him and now it's on to episode 3 where you come back to the village and everything is ravaged. And your carrier, Miss Tiny Titan, is absolutely panicking. So you try to tell her that she shouldn't worry because everybody would be okay. It's actually really bad that you can't talk. Then Cleet Sleazewood comes over while you guys are working. But really she's the only one working to put the village back together because of her big muscles, but he does ask you to join their menagerie. The way he says menagerie, it's like ménage à trois. I know the writer was having fun with that. After that, some lady from the Treasury Bureau comes over with her assistant, Gut Guy. If that's not the most sus name I've ever heard, then I don't know what is. And she accuses Squarehead of stealing all the silver coins and Mrs. Hercules just writes you out immediately. Listen ladies, snitches get stitches. And of course we get another sus reference when she's about to make an exchange of gold to get some silver coins back. And guess who happens to pass by while they're doing the exchange? Roscoe the Slithering Rascal. He saw everything. Coincidence? I think not. In the meantime, you add a new function which is basically a mini casino slot. And now this is not an anime anymore, it's just legal highway robbery. Like, yet no shame robbing old men of their money. Look at this man, he's about to lose all his social security money. But thank God he got saved by his loving wife or daughter. Like, it could go either way, I don't know what that man is into. Then you get invited by Bernstein to the Hunters Association. So you're sitting in a room with Miss Big Personality Hercules, the Bernstein bear talking, and then there's you, a vending machine. I mean, I have seen absurdity in anime, but I'm glad we've come up with more. You know, I'm so glad and I'm here for it. This is great. And also, out of all the people who should be out of the room, and I say people, I mean at least the vending machine should be outside. No, it's the human that's going to have to wait outside. And then they bring the most looking anime girl looking out there to ask you, the food vending machine, to sell condoms. Yes, I said condoms. First of all, how did they know to ask you? Did I miss the thought process? And I'm like, okay, let's skip up to the story. So she starts playing with the condom. I retract my earlier statement. This is peak isekai. Peak. I mean, look at what she says, and I quote, "It's interesting how it stretches and contracts." Close quotes. I need to find out who the creator is. His name is Hirokuma. You sir, if you don't get the trophy for best isekai of the year, I will turn into a Karen and write a letter. Yes, I will do that. I mean, look at the comments. I don't care what anyone says. Vending machine is peak and you know it. Another one, bro really started slinging condoms. LMAO, I'm dead. And where the F is this show going? He sells condoms now? Bro, isekai to a dungeon to introduce diabetes and condoms. Yo. And you know what's worse? She wasn't even done with this. Look at this. I'm telling you, this guy wrote hentai before. There's no way he never did it. Either he's really trying to make a lot of money with this show and he knows his audience, or she's really trying to figure out how that works. But you know what? I get it. I have no more comments. Let's move on. Nah, hold on. I have one more thing. This guy ends up at the bathhouse with them changing, and of course he's trying to fool us by saying he's not there for that. Bruv, we don't believe you. If you're a real person, we would never. Then it's back to the old man teaching his granddaughter how to be a gambling addict in the most wholesome way possible. The kid wins and give him her winnings, and he goes on to say, "Oh, thank you for giving me your winnings. You're such a great granddaughter. But the day's almost over and it'll only make me happy for just a little while." What a waste. Yo, this grandpa is out of Hake. This actually brings me back to the days of old dub version of anime. Hik.
Think of a big black man chasing you!
And the next day, the director, Mr. Birkenstein, gives him an assignment to turn invisible to find who is committing crime. And while he is invisible, the little girl they saved meets with Miss Big Personality Hercules, and she calls her a big booby monster. So, I'm not the only one. I'm just saying, I added the big. I did. But we're not done. They go on to argue about selling pale SpongeBob and roast each other about their looks. Unfortunately for the little girl, she loses because she thinks her mom is mayor of the balcony. But her mom has an extension added, and it's not even permanent. So this was a great anime recap. I just wanted to try something new. Post your most out-of-pocket thought about these shows. Should I do more?